Evening all, apologies for the delay. We've had a slight technical issue this evening. We do apologise for that. Callum is with us now. We're going to use Callum today for tomorrow. So the first 10-15 minutes is going to be live for you straight away, and then everything after that will be embargoed till 11 o'clock tonight. So to get us going, Guy, would you like to kick us off, please?
Yeah, sure. How many questions do you want us to ask?
Really, if you could, Guy, just to give everyone a chance, please.
Okay. Hi, Callum. Good to see you. Can you just tell us what... Can you hear me okay, Callum?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. You just tell us what today was like in terms of players arriving from yesterday, maybe, who played yesterday, whether it was a full training session or how many bodies down were you?
Yeah, so obviously it's a little bit different because there was a lot of club games which were played yesterday, and normally obviously we'd play on a Saturday, so it was obviously a little bit more trickier because a few lads had to do recovery like myself, and then a few lads game -2, so they got to train in a little bit, and the lads that haven't really been playing so much got to have a full session. So it was obviously all a little bit separated today, but we'll be all back to normal tomorrow as a full group.
In terms of the two previous internationals, there was sort of everybody seemed to be at sort of 75% because it was pre-season. What can you have learned there that may help you on Thursday, bearing in mind you're not going to have too much time in terms of preparation and training?
Yeah, of course, it's annoying a little bit because we would have liked a little bit longer going into the big game on Thursday, but obviously the first two fixtures that we had last month were obviously harder for us because we didn't have a long pre-season anyway, and then you're getting chucked into two big games, big Nation League games. So yeah, it's obviously been a little bit tricky over the last few months, but the only good thing now this month that we're all going to be a lot more fitter with the games that we're playing, and the majority of the lads in the squad are playing week in, week out, which is good. So sharpness-wise and fitness-wise, we're all in a good place.
Yeah, especially you're doing really well with West Brom at the moment, scoring goals and starting. Do you feel you're in a much better position now to push the manager for a starting berth on Thursday? Yeah,
definitely. Obviously, because you're with your club more than you are for the international games, you've got to do well for your club to first of all get selected and then to try and get into the starting 11. And I've just been enjoying my time at the moment with West Brom. Obviously started the first 4 games of the season and was involved in one of the cup games and got myself a few goals. So yeah, I'm obviously positive going into the game, but I've just got to obviously wait on the gaffer's selection. But I'm just going to keep working hard and try to do well in training in the next few days and see how it goes.
Cheers, Callum. Thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Sinead, would you like to come in?
Yeah, Callum, as you said there, have you been given any indication at all whether you'll start this week?
No, I've had nothing so far. Obviously, as I said, it's been tricky this week. Today, with lads having to do a little bit of recovery, but we're all back together tomorrow. But yeah, we'll just wait and see. Obviously, any player would want to be starting in games like Thursday night. It's obviously a massive game, but it's down to the gaffer for who he's going to pick for the game.
Do you expect you to be more cohesive on Thursday? You know, everyone on the same page for this huge game?
Yeah, of course. As I said, lads are club-wise, lads have been playing, and we're all in a good place. And then we're going to have to try get the coaching staff and the manager is going to have to try get as much information across to us in a short period of time, which is obviously hard, but it was good to be away with him last month, so we sort of know the basics of how he wants to obviously approach games. So as I said, the next few days are going to be key to what we want to end up doing on Thursday night.
Do you go there with confidence, with no fear?
Yeah, no fear. Well, personally, I never fear for anyone really, and I think we're like that as a group. We know that we've got a lot of quality, and you could see, obviously, it was disappointing to lose against Finland, but you could see little things as in the game where we're trying to get to where we want, what the manager wants. We're we're getting there. But it was obviously harder last month because we wasn't as fit as we are now. So yeah, I'm really positive. Obviously going into Thursday, and I back all the lads and everyone who's involved here.
Good luck. Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank
Shane.
you.
Just
Cheers.
a couple of people in, if that's okay. So just,
Yeah.
Nathan, are you next?
Yeah, can you hear me there?
Yeah.
Will I go? Are you ready yet?
Okay.
Hi, Callum. Just a couple of things. You touched there on fitness last time out, and it was maybe a bit of a surprise to everybody that for pre-season playing internationals of importance. Just how far off it were you, do you think, in September of full fitness compared to where you are a month on?
Well, I can't speak obviously for everyone, but I would definitely say I was probably 75% out of 100. It's tough because you have a few pre-season games, but they're not the same. And as I said, it was a short pre-season anyway. I think it was 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, and we was having 2 massive games like that, and it's tough. And then obviously you've got the new information from the new manager to take on board as well, which is tough. Obviously no excuses, but you could see what he wanted from the way we played, but just that extra 15-20% is going to obviously take us a long way.
All the players we've spoken to over the last while talk about the amount of information. Has that kept going over the last few weeks? Has the manager been in touch when you've been back with your clubs?
Yeah, obviously he tries to get in touch, but it's tough for him because we're with our clubs and we're doing what we're doing week in, week out. So it's more when we get here where he can obviously get more information across as a collective instead of individuals, because it would be tough to be ringing every player throughout every week. It'd be tough to obviously get the information. So it's obviously easier when you've got the group of lads in front of you to help us. It's easier to get the information across.
I'm sure you'd say you'd play anywhere, but if it is the 4-3-3 formation, again, across that front three, what do you think is your best position? What's your preferred spot?
Obviously, I've played in every one of them positions in my career so far. So I had obviously for Preston North End, I played a lot on the left, and then for Ireland, I've played a lot on the right. And then obviously this season, West Brom last season, I was on the left and right. And then this season, I've been playing through the middle for the first 4 games of the season. So that's the obviously good thing about myself. I enjoy playing in any of them positions, and I enjoy just being in the final third and trying to be a threat from any right, left, or up front. So it's been obviously it's good for me because it helps me get into the squads, and hopefully I can, as I say, push for that starting spot.
Just one last one. Cyrus Christie's been called back into the squad in place of Seamus Coleman. He was talking over the last few weeks about some of the issues he'd had with racism when he was in with Ireland. Some of the quotes he said were, "Cyrus, you're not Irish, you were born in England." And he didn't think that the likes of Richard Keogh, Harry Arter, Kieran Clark were getting those sort of comments. He said, "But me, David McGoldrick, Callum Robinson, the 3 black lads that's coming at us, we're the ones that are getting spoken about like that." Have you had any experiences like that, like Cyrus talks about, when you've been in with Ireland?
Not so much. I haven't had a lot. I think when I was at Preston, I had my Preston time, but when I first sort of joined the squad, I had a few tweets and stuff like that. But I haven't had nothing to face or heard anything from anyone, from the fans or crowd wise. And with Twitter, as you know, you never get a face on the other side of it. So obviously we got them tweets deleted because we want that kicked out. We don't want any of that. And we're obviously playing for the country because we've got Irish in us. So that doesn't make sense at all. Or we wouldn't be playing for the country. And we still put in 100 and 110%. It doesn't matter. So yeah, obviously that's disappointing if Si's had that. I've had a little bit of it, but maybe not as much as him, or I'm not sure about Didsy. But in general, we're trying to kick that out. And as you can see with football in England, in the Prem and in the Championship and all the leagues, we're really trying to push this because it's obviously disappointing what's been going on around the world. And football is obviously one of the main sports, and we're trying to push that in general. So yeah, obviously it's not nice that sides had to experience that, but with me, I've only had a few tweets, and as you said, you don't know who's on the end of them.
Do you think it's working? Do you think taking a knee for the 10 seconds at the start of a game is having an impact?
Well, of course, because it's every game. Everyone's watching the games, and as I said, it's viewed all around the world, and we're making a stand, and hopefully, even if it's 1%, 2% of even kids growing up, like asking the question, why are they kneeling on, why they're doing that, and then the parent can answer it, and just little things. There's so much to it, but I think obviously definitely them 1-2% is always going to help this situation.
Thanks, Callum.
Thank you, Nathan. Adrian Eames, would you like to ask a question?
How you doing, Callum? Spoke yesterday about Ireland's approach, and he said they won't, that the team won't be cautious. In terms of, it's a one-off game, and it's a cup semi-final to make a final with a big prize at stake. So how do you think you'll approach the game in terms, because you mentioned as well that Slovakia are a possession-based team. So how important will it be to try and get on the front foot and dictate things on Thursday?
Well, of course, that's down to the manager, not Callum Robinson. But I think since obviously we've only had one trip with a new manager, but he's been really positive with us, and as you could see in the games, the way that we was pressing and the way we was trying to go at it, we wasn't sitting off. At times in the game, you have to sit off. There's quality in international football, and you can get punished if you're all over the place. But you can see that we're being positive, and we're trying to force the issue. And I'd assume we're going to obviously go there positive and try attack them and to stop them playing and disrupt them. But as I said, I'm not the manager, and we haven't really had that sit down yet or a meeting about what's going on, because it's obviously lads have been coming in. As I said, the likes of Connor come this morning and Doc's come this morning, so that we haven't had that group meeting yet. But obviously, it's down to the manager what he wants to do and how he wants to go there and to try get a win is what we're obviously going to try do. And I'd assume it's going to be to try force the issue.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Thanks, Adrian. We're just going to see if there's anybody else waiting, please, Matthew.
No, you're all good.
Okay. Right. Damien Spellman.
Hey, Callum.
Hello, you okay?
Yeah, good, thanks. Callum, does the fact that you playing regularly in the Premier League, you're scoring goals, particularly against Chelsea, do you think you've given the manager something to think about for this week?
Well, you hope so as a professional footballer and as an attacker, scoring goals and assists, and obviously first of all playing, getting games and starting and getting minutes. Hopefully, I've been doing well in club level, as I said, first of all to get selected, but then to obviously get to get in the starting lineup. I've been obviously working hard club level to try and get that starting. That start here, and obviously fingers crossed that can happen. And we just got to wait and see what the manager wants to go for on Thursday night. But I've done the best I can, and hopefully in the next few days I can keep training and working hard to try and push to get that start.
And just obviously, ordinarily, this game would be played in front of a really hostile crowd in Slovakia. No crowd there. From your experience in the Premier League, how much difference has that made playing behind closed doors? Yeah, there can be differences in different games. So, for instance, that Chelsea game, they come back into it and obviously got the 3 goals. But you could say if there was fans roaring us on and to keep them out, that could have happened, and we could have maybe got a win. Is obviously that's the main thing that I miss the most. I miss the fans at games, and especially games like Thursday night. It would have been going off. So yeah, it's obviously disappointed. Missed them loads, and probably took them for granted a little bit because now for the first time ever that we've had to play without fans, you really do miss them. So yeah, it's going to be obviously different on Thursday night without our fans there. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Roland Murphy.
Yeah, so you spoke a lot earlier about fitness and your fitness being lacking earlier in the previous matches. Do you think, as well as being fitter, you'll also be mentally sharper for these games, having played a few games over the last month?
Yeah, of course. The fitter you are, the sharper you are, and that's just that's just common sense. That's just as in, if you're fitter, you don't have to worry about your legs like blowing up early or whatever. You're sharper in your mind, your touches, your awareness, everything. It takes long, and that's why normally you have a 6-7 week period to get to that point. And as I said, we only had 3 weeks, I think it was, or 2.5, 3 weeks to get to that point. And then you're playing against teams that their leagues have started as well. Also, their leagues were started before us, so they would have been up to a little bit more speed than us. So yeah, it's obviously difficult doing it, but we had to do it. It is what it is, and for the boys we done well. But as I said, the way the manager wants to play, you need that extra 15-20%. You need to be a bit more fitter than we were with the press, etc. But that's why I'm hoping. Obviously, these next 3 fixtures, but obviously Thursday night, we'll be fitter and we'll be obviously more on the ball and sharper around the box and in our own box as well.
Thank you, Ron. Gavin Cooney?
Hey, Callum. Yeah, just to really follow on from something Damien was asking about, from your own performance point of view, what's the most difficult aspect of playing in an empty stadium?
Yeah, the difficult is probably when you score against Chelsea and there's no one there to there's no one there to celebrate with, just the camera. So that's the difficult part of it. And as I said, for West Brom, we're obviously back in the Premiership, and the fans would be roaring us on and celebrating goals, etc., and helping us along the way, which isn't happening at the moment. Obviously, we're celebrating with just our teammates, but as I said, you take the fans for granted when you're scoring goals, or you're getting a draw against Chelsea at the Hawthorns. It would have been obviously nights to remember, but at the moment there's nothing. Aston Villa last night beat Liverpool 7-2. Villa Park, as I was there before, that would have been going off for hours. But obviously, it's just sad that isn't happening at the moment through these circumstances. But we have to just obviously keep playing and keep working hard through these times.
Yeah, obviously the circumstances around the world are very difficult for everyone, and obviously the virus is still out there. Now you're leaving what is quite a controlled, like health-wise Premier League environment, and I'm not at all questioning your commitment to Ireland. You're clearly committed to international football, but did it give you pause for thought at all? Are you anxious at all about leaving your club and then getting on a flight to England or flight to Ireland, and then you're going to play in Slovakia, then in Ireland, then in Finland, then back to England? Like, it's an awful lot of travel. Like, I think you'd probably be human if you wouldn't be human if you weren't a little bit anxious about that.
Yeah, I think everyone's obviously a little bit anxious about obviously catching it, which is understandable. But at the end of the day, this is our job, and then you're playing for your country. At the end of the day, there's no way I'm not catching a flight over to Ireland and catching a flight to Slovakia and back and to Finland, and no chance I'm missing that. Obviously, you are anxious because it is crazy what's going on in the world right now. But at the end of the day, it's our job, and we want to play for our country. It's simple as that.
And you're probably aware, I doubt even the manager has to say it, that you can cheer up a full country with your result on Thursday night.
Yeah, of course. Through these sad times at the moment, as I said, I would say in general, football in general has been obviously keeping people healthy, and you think, you laugh and you think that no chance, but I know that football is definitely helping people's heads at the moment. Obviously, being at home a lot and watching the games, etc. Obviously gives them a motive to be happy. So yeah, obviously a lot's on Thursday night, and if we can get a win to put some smiles again on people's faces. And as you know, winter's coming as well, so that's just a little bit of a downer with the virus. So football is obviously a massive thing, and if we can get that win for the country on Thursday night, that would be massive.
Thanks a lot, Callum. Best of luck.
Okay, thank you, Gavin. We're going to go to the embargo now, so everything